Continuing coverage of the Alec Murdaugh murder trial continues with analysis of the picture both sides are trying to paint of what happened June 7, 2021 on that Moselle property. We appreciate attorney Ronnie Richter of the Bland Richter law firm joining us again to offer more insight and to help us understand what we are seeing and hearing in that courtroom. Certainly a very big development and one that a lot of people will probably pay very close attention to and think about that they saw today was hearing from Paul Murdaugh's childhood friend explain what happened in that phone call, that text message between the two of them.
Yeah, this message is all important because the timeline is critical for the state. And the timeline also dispels the alibi that Alex was trying to advance. So Alex's prior story, I had not seen Paul since supper. We know that now not to be true, and we know it because of the testimony of the friend who verifies that that was Alex's voice that was heard in the video that was taken at 8:45. Now here's where the timeline becomes so important. We don't yet have an established time of death, but the evidence seems to point to about 8:49 or 8:50. Alex's phone is back at the house. Alex's phone becomes active at about 9:02. If he's at the kennel at 8:45 and his phone is back at the house at 9:02, when he starts to use the phone, is he really trying to find out where Maggie is? He was just with Maggie at the kennel a few hundred yards away 15 minutes earlier. Or is he trying to create his own digital footprint to create an alibi to say, I wasn't there, I don't know what happened? Here's what's most problematic about that alibi. If he is in fact back at the house and he's not involved in the crimes, how is it possible that you didn't hear World War III break out in the distance between the house and the kennels? It's a very short distance. You got AR rifles being fired. You got shotguns being fired. I find it impossible, not credible, that even if he made his way back to the house, he's in such isolation by 9:02 when he's back at his phone, that at 8:49, 8:50, he doesn't hear AR rifles and shotguns being fired.
Possibly screams, possibly the sounds of dogs, all those kinds of things in an area that's very quiet, very remote, and no one else around.
You can only imagine what that must have sounded like.
So what will this mean and what kind of problems does this create for the defense?
Well, a key moment in the timeline we don't yet have is the precise time of death. So that'll come later with forensic evidence, and there will be an opinion about time of death. But the closer that time of death is to that video at 8:45, the harder it's going to be for Alex, who was saying, I wasn't there, to escape the fact that he was present, and he was present in very close proximity to the time those murders took place.
Cell phone data, a big topic of discussion today. We are also talking about Maggie's cell phone, which they apparently discovered away from the crime scene, thrown away. Let's talk about what they discovered with Maggie's cell phone.
Yeah, so with Maggie's cell phone, the big takeaway from me is apparently these cell phones indicate when movement is taking place. And they measured steps from Maggie, about 59 steps that she took in that 8:50 window, more or less. Important to me, they did not see parallel movement between Alex's phone and Maggie's phone. So what does that mean? The state would say or the defense would say, that proves that Alex did not take that phone. I don't think that's true. I think the proof is that Alex's phone is back at the house. Someone, after this shooting took place, carried Maggie's phone some distance before that phone went dead. Now we know ultimately it's found about a half mile down the road, so the question becomes, if I'm the defense, this supports the idea that there's more than one shooter. Somebody had to pick up that phone and take it. If somebody took that phone, why didn't they also take Paul's phone? And I'm going to say it's not Alex who took that phone, because I know that Alex's phone did not move in parallel motion to Maggie's phone. So it's a confusing piece of evidence. I think in the balance, it's better for the defense than for the state.
So once again, we see the defense trying to push that theory of there being a second shooter. Let's also talk about the fact that there was the oral arguments that are coming in and what the oral arguments are designed to do. For those of us who are unsure of this, not familiar with the law, what does this mean for this case moving forward in the trial? Yeah,
you heard the state say the words, the defense has opened the door. And you're going to hear this more than once in this trial. It's very important to understand this concept. Again, consider the judge the filter of the evidence.
This is Judge Newman.
Judge Newman has, and in pretrial, the judge has kind of defined the boundaries of this dispute. I'm going to let you talk about this. I'm not going to let you talk about that. Right. Key to the state's case, they desperately want to get in evidence of the financial crimes. And it sounds like, at least for the time being, Judge Newman has said, I'm not going to entertain that. And the reason would be, as a general proposition, evidence of somebody's bad character generally is not admissible to prove they did bad things.
And so is this when we heard them bring up the issue and question Paul's friend
Yes.
about why he believes Alec might hurt his wife and son?
Yeah, so when they asked the question, can you think of any reason why he would have done this? That was one question too many for me. The other question was, did you know Alex to be a wealthy man? And that's when the state said, wait a minute, Your Honor, they have opened the door now. We should be allowed to get into his financial misdeeds and the fact that his financial empire was crashing.
All right, Ronnie Richter, once again, thank you very much for helping us sort through and understand what we are seeing in that Colleton County courtroom. Stay here with us. We are coming right back. We'll have more on the Murdaugh murder trial on News 2 at 6.